This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, former President Goodluck Jonathan not defecting to APC. Information Minister again says Twitter ban would soon be lifted. Rivers State Executive Council approves over 5 billion naira for rehabilitation of health institution. About 50 families left homeless as Rivers State government demolishes shanties in Okpogu, Port Harcourt. Wife of man declared wanted by state government says he is still missing over 48 hours after. On the foreign scene, UK, US and Australia launch pact to counter China. I am Ifiemi Andrew. Spokesperson to former President Goodluck has denied online reports that he has joined the APC. Ikechikwueze told senior editor Agogo Obo that the reports were untrue and should be ignored. Reports of the former president leaving the PP have been widely circulated, with party stalwarts visiting him to remain with the party he enjoyed all his political successes. Mr. Eze also said Goodluck Jonathan cannot join the APC secretly but in an open and dignified ceremony. Meanwhile, the APC says it will welcome Jonathan if he defects. The Federal Executive Council has approved 38.4 billion naira for the completion of some inherited road projects in 5 states. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola briefed State House correspondents at the end of the council meeting, listed the benefiting states as Bayelsa, Anambra, Imo, Benue and Nasarawa.
They are not new projects. They are projects that we inherited and we are trying to complete. So essentially they relate to cost revision because of the ages of the contract and the prices of goods that have changed. So the first one was the contract for 13.5 kilometer spur of road from Onitsha Owerri Road through Okija, Ihembosi, Afo Upo to Ezinifite in Newi South local government area of Anambra State. That contract was awarded in 2011, which is 10 years today, just 13.5 kilometer spur.
The minister said the second contract was for the completion of a 20-kilometer dual carriageway of Yenegua Road junction to Kolo and Utueke and Bayelsa Palm in Bayelsa State. He said the third was for the completion of a road linking Nasarawa and Benue states. Information Minister Lai Mohammed has again said the Twitter ban would soon be lifted. He gave the update while addressing newsmen after Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting.
I think even Twitter itself 2 days ago gave a progress report on our talks with them. If I want to quote them rightly, they say it's been productive and quite respectful. And as to how soon is soon, I want to assure you that the time that Twitter's operation has been suspended and when it will be restored is by far much, much shorter. That I can assure you. In other words, if the operation has been suspended for about 100 days now, I can tell that we're just actually talking about a few more days.
Over 5 billion naira will be spent by the River State government for the rehabilitation of Professor Kesley Harrison Dental and Maxillofacial Hospital in Port Harcourt. Commissioner for Health, Prince Chike, who briefed newsmen after yesterday's council meeting, said the hospital, when completed, will be an affiliate of the River State University Teaching Hospital for the training of medical personnel. Professor Chike said the rehabilitation work will last for 13 months.
The State Executive Council approved the rehabilitation, renovation, and equipping and furnishing of the Professor Kesley Harrison Hospital in Port Harcourt. The public has been eager watching what is going on in the Mother and Child Hospital, which has been completed and commissioned. The Mother and Child Hospital is yet to take off. The reason being that the Executive Council approved an Executive Council committee that is looking into, together with the Bureau of Public-Private Procurement, to make sure that the necessary processes for a seamless takeoff of that hospital is put in place.
The Commissioner for Health also said Governor Nyesom Wike informed Council of the approval given by the Medical and Dental Council to the River State University College of Medical Sciences to admit 100 students per session.
The State Executive Council was briefed of the approval by the Medical and Dental Council for the River State University College of Medical Sciences for the intake of 100 students per session. This is a great news for River State.
Also speaking, Commissioner for Information and Communications, Pauline Osinsarim, said Council approved that a bill be sent to the Rivers State House of Assembly for the enactment of a law for judicial officers to own their own houses upon retirement.
This is a policy of the present administration, a brainchild of His Excellency, to ensure that judicial officers work comfortably and then put in their best to ensure that justice is passed in a very fair manner in the state. To entrench this policy, a bill has been sent to the River State House of Assembly for enactment of a law, so that at the end of this administration, subsequent administration that will come will ensure that this policy is not toyed with.
He also said that River State has been approved as the South-South Zonal Headquarters of the Federal Judicial Service Commission.
The entire South-South will have an office here located in River State, apparently because River State has become the pride of those in the judicial system in Nigeria. The state is to also establish a judicial institute for the training of judges and magistrates in the state. This will complement the activities of the National Judicial Council. This establishment of this Judicial Institute will not take away the activities of the National Judicial Council.
Correspondent Emeka Otuka reports that the Special Advisor to Governor Wike on Special Projects, George Kelly, said the Council ratified the approval for the construction of Nabo Graham Douglas campus of the Nigerian Law School in Port Harcourt. The Calabari Youth Council worldwide has condemned the kidnap of an expatriate working with Lulu Bricks Construction Company on the Trans-Calabari Road. President General of Calabari Youth Council, Ipalibo Madodoye, in an interview, demanded the immediate and unconditional release of the expatriate. Mr. Madodoye faulted comments by the Kengema Unity Forum on the kidnap of the expatriate, describing it as mockery.
We challenge it to also come out publicly to condemn the then most shameless kidnap of the wife of one of the greatest lovers and supporters of Calabari Kingdom, the highly respected High Chief Dr. Obilulubri, and expose the mastermind of that kidnap. The Calabari Youth Council shall challenge the credibility of the KUF in the court of law if it fails to unmask those behind that abominable kidnap of our Calabari daughter and all the evil kidnappings and illegal oil bunkerings perpetrated within Calabari land from 1997 to date.
The President General of Calabari Youth Council also said that it is wrong for any Calabari person to frustrate the construction of the Trans-Calabari Road under any guise. He called on the youth to be vigilant and report anyone caught trying to thwart the project.
We hereby strongly warn any other person, persons, or group of persons that would present itself or themselves as a tool or decoy to distract or forestall the Trans-Calabari project or any other projects in Calabari land to stay clear, even as we call on all community youth bodies and their leaders to be on red alert and report suspicious moves to the appropriate quarters. Augustina
Godwin Barra, wife of Godwin Barra, who was declared wanted by the state government, says she is shattered after her husband went missing since Monday. Mrs. Barra told our correspondent that her husband last spoke to her around 4 p.m. on Monday and said he was coming home to grant a telephone interview to a popular radio station in Port Harcourt. She said when she returned to tune to the radio, the presenter said her husband sent a text message saying he wouldn't show up for the interview due to health and safety reasons.
At that moment, the thing dawned on me that my husband cannot send him that message without reaching house for me to know the reason why he will not attend to that interview. So immediately I picked up my phone. I started calling. His number was switched off. I said maybe he has a low battery. Throughout yesterday, we went to different police stations. We went to Moscow Road to ask them if actually, since they were being declared wanted, if the River State government has apprehended my husband. I'm just so shattered. I don't know what to do. All I'm begging the state government, they should please lift the ban first and release my husband for wherever they've kept him. I'm begging with everything I hold sacred.
Mrs. Barra, who said she suspects foul play, questioned why her husband was singled out of the many Julius Berger workers that protested last week.
Deep down inside me, I still sense a foul play because they lured my husband to come for a meeting in their office last month and they wrote down my husband's name, and that was what led to his termination and being declared wanted because the over 1,000 workers went for that protest. Why would it be only 3 people? To tell you that there is something attached to this that they've not really told me. I'm still pleading on behalf of I and the children. We are still pleading that they should please release my husband for me.
Also speaking on this, an activist, Legbosi Yamabana, says the River State government does not have the right to declare anyone wanted. Mr. Yamabana advised the state government to engage Julius Berger to resolve the issue of poor staff welfare, which has been the focus of workers' protest.
Those that have the rights to do so are the police and the state security service, and not the government. So why would the government want to usurp the powers of the police and DSS? Why would the government want to be the spokesperson to Julius Berger? Why can't the government advise Julius Berger to do the right thing and call them to a round table with a view to resolving this issue? If the young man is not being found within this speculated time, we shall be left with no option than to embark on plethora of actions, which include litigation and other actions within the ambits of the laws.
About 50 families were left homeless after the state government demolished shanties in the Mbogo area of Port Harcourt. Last week, Governor Nyesom Wike ordered the demolition, citing security concerns. Our correspondent who was at the scene on Wednesday spoke to some of those who lost their homes.
This where I mean now is only on the road that we remain now. There is nowhere for us to go at all. No, there is nothing like money. They just say we should pack our things out, and there is nowhere for us to even drop the things there. Talk less of where for us to stay. Please, our governor, please, we don't have anywhere to go. Look at my children. Where do you want us to go? Please, we need your help. Help us, please. We need your support.
Without being told, you can see me with my loads on my head. As I see me now, most of my loads outside, I don't even know where to go. I don't even know exactly where to head to now.
Residents and traders at Odani axis of Elelewa area are calling on Governor Nyesom Wike to remember the deplorable condition of the road as he plans to commission more projects in coming days. Some of them made the call when our correspondent visited the area to see the condition of the road. They say whenever it rains, floods take over the already bad road.
This is Odani Road leading to Express by Eleme Junction Road. This very road, anytime rain fall, no motor, no movement. Even to the extent that when rain fall, this my office filled with water. We'll be suffering here. Many houses collapse because of this road. Government should come to our rescue. It's more than 10 years.
That's for me. I've already made up my mind. After my rent, I'm not going to stay here anymore. Because coming out early in the morning, you want to go to work, you'll be unhappy to move around. We're not supposed to be going through all this. So we really need them to work on this road for us so that we all live well and be happy.
Some motorists also spoke with correspondent Sebiru Wari.
If you rain fall, you know they feel pass that road. Sometimes if they fall inside the gutter, no feel pass. They pray make government to come help us. Almost every day, if you bear no spoil for my machine and shoe brake go finish for my machine. So every day they work machine. So I know if you at least save small money, I go use take care of myself because of how bad road is.
Every day, depend on that bad road. Almost every day in mechanic, cup, grease, spicer, those things that make the keke to be available for us. That road, they have totally destroyed those things.
The Edo State government has begun enforcing the barring of all unvaccinated civil servants from work. Online videos on Wednesday showed civil servants presenting proof of vaccination before they were allowed into the state secretariat. The principal of Comprehensive Secondary School Nkume Njaba in Imo State, where some students were prevented from writing English language subject in the ongoing WAEC exams, say they were chased out of the school by gunmen who arrived in motorcycles shooting in the air. The principal, Ambrose Ereko, narrated the incident in an interview.
The supervisor had not arrived, so we were trying to arrange the students into the hall. So all of a sudden, a group of unknown gunmen, they were not masked. They came in motorcycles and vehicle and started shooting in all directions. And they were shooting into the hall. So we did the students and the teachers, everybody, including myself, around 4 hours their lives. So when they saw we were dispersed, they gathered all the motorcycles, both of that of the students and the teachers, in a heap and burned them and went away. I promised to come back to disrupt the exam.
Mr. Ereko said the school had to relocate to another venue to take the exams, which was also attacked by the same gunman. He said they now have to change venues for exams daily.
The villagers, the townsmen also came to our rescue. They gave us another venue where we relocated and then took the exam. Even after the exam, they went on to attack the supervisor, collected all his phones and personal belongings. The following day, they came back, the new venue, to disrupt the exam. What we are really doing now is when we take the exam here, the next day we take it at another place, because when you take an exam at a particular place, they will get to know where we are taking the exam.
Yobe State Governor Mimala Buni has commiserated with families of those who died after a Nigerian Air Force fighter jet killed 8 people and left several villages injured in Buhari village, Yunusari local government area of the state. Reports say the jet shelled the village in the early hours of Wednesday as the villagers were preparing to go to the weekly market in Gaidam, a neighboring local government area 200 kilometers from Damaturu. The governor in a statement called for an investigation. Still ahead, activists urge government to save environment on day of preservation of ozone layer. Stay tuned. As the world marks the International Day for Preservation of the Ozone Layer, an environmental justice activist, Dumnamine Fineface, said deforestation and use of hydrocarbon has caused depletion of the ozone layer in the country, and especially the Niger Delta region. Dumnamine urged the government to switch to renewable energy and individuals to embrace afforestation and avoid indiscriminate dumping of waste in order to save the environment.
Can agree with me that the rate at which deforestation is also occurring is contributing to some of these issues too. And because the government have also refused to invest in renewable and clean energy, the entire system in Nigeria runs on hydrocarbon, and that is definitely contributing massively to ozone layer depletion. The country has to begin to look at the possibility of switching from hydrocarbon to clean and renewable energy. This will help to save the environment. The government too should also try to embrace other sources of energy like solar, wind energy, and other things.
International Day for Preservation of the Ozone Layer is marked every September 16 to focus global attention and action on environmental issues. Civil society organizations in Nigeria are demanding that before Shell Company concludes its divesting plans, they should clear up all polluted oil-bearing communities in the Niger Delta region. Executive Director of Environmental Rights Action Friends of the Earth Nigeria Chapter, Chima Williams, made this position known during a one-day program to discuss recent happenings in the oil and gas industry.
We are using this opportunity to warn and remind those that are willing or interested or angling to buy Shell assets that, look, we are serving you the caveat emptor. Buyer beware. He who buys assets also inherits the liabilities. If you are going to buy from Shell, be rest assured that the community people of the Niger Delta will not allow you to operate from those facilities until you have cleared up the mess.
Mr. Williams also claimed that oil-bearing communities are not responsible for oil pollution in the region, even as alleged, as the majority of the oil facilities owned by Shell Company are obsolete.
Shell workers induces or contributes or works with people to, sabotage their facilities by vandalism, creating opportunities for spills to occur so that they can do the cleanup exercise. We have documented reports, we have video evidence of some of those that are involved in, tampering with oil facilities who clearly have stated it on record that they work with Shell staff.
The environmental activist also suggested that before Shell Company divests, the victims of oil pollution in the Niger Delta region must be allowed to make an input.
Of course, understand it is the right of every investor to decide how to deal with his or her investment. Yes, but in the instant case of shell divestment, it goes beyond the investors taking decision. The victims of their investments, activities, and portfolios now must have a say as to what should happen, because they have suffered, the mess has been created, you cannot carry your portfolio and leave. So Shell must clear up their mess as a condition precedent to their living.
The need for journalists in Rivers State to acquire data journalism knowledge to hold the government and its agencies accountable was the focus of a one-day workshop organized by an NGO, Policy Alert. Executive Director of Policy Alert, Tija Bolton Akpan, at the event tagged Extractive Data Journalism Workshop, challenged practicing journalists to hold the government accountable through the information they feed the public.
Citizens have an opportunity to interrogate the reconciliation of these data, to further use that data to ask government questions, to ask the companies questions. The media, which is an important accountability actor, has not been upfront in its role in interpreting this data. And that is the rationale behind this workshop. We want to see journalists, especially investigative journalists, beginning to utilize this data, creative, meaningful stories, converting it into visually appealing stories, creative stories that make meaning to the ordinary citizens and can be used to hold government and companies to account.
Mr. Bolton Akpan explained that with data journalism, the citizens will be better equipped with the right information to ask government questions.
Before now, the sector was shrouded in so much secrecy, a lot of technical jargon, but increasingly we are seeing that that paradigm is changing, and we are beginning to have a lot of data emerging from the sector, especially with Nigeria signing on to the Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative in 2003 and beginning implementation in 2004. Since then, the sector has produced. There is so much to learn about the oil, gas, and mining sector.
Correspondent Seberuwari reports that one of the resource persons with Data Fight organization, Charles Zumba, explained benefits of data journalism to the society.
So in the course of our interaction, I discovered that most importantly, not just the fact that journalists do not even make use of these data sets. They don't even know that these data sets are available. They don't know where these data sets are. The government is doing a whole lot in terms of releasing data sets. And they are doing it because they know that most persons won't go through it. The reason why people do not go there, trust me, a good percentage of people that do not go there is because they don't even know that it's there. As much as possible, I feel like people should also take advantage of this kind of trainings, because when you come to this kind of...
The Egi Clan Council of Chiefs and Traditional Rulers, headed by a two-time regent, His Royal Highness Eze London Onwao Biebe, the Eze Etiti, is informing the public that late Professor Uzondo Anele Wokoma, whom some politicians and people describe as miscreant, addressed as politicians and people they describe as miscreants, addressed as the Eze Egi of Ogbaland, was an impostor. In a statement signed by High Chief Ojum Ejike Godwin, Chairman Egi Clan Council of Traditional Rulers and Chiefs, under the leadership of Eze Etiti, the Regent of Egi Clan Council of Traditional Rulers and Chiefs, said the late Professor Wokoma was appointed in Port Harcourt outside the kingdom, contrary to the tradition of Egi Kingdom. The statement said the true king of Egi Kingdom is the one chosen by the gods and coronated at the sacred playground of Anamauji, in line with the customs and tradition of Egi Kingdom. And he is His Royal Majesty Eze Victor Egbo Lenwa, Eze Egi III, Eze Ogba Uku of Ogbaland. The statement also advised Egi politicians not to address late Professor Uzondo Anele Wokoma as king, nor bury him as one, as the case to ascertain the true king of Egi Kingdom is still in the Federal High Court. He urged the politicians involved to leave the traditional institution and focus fully on politics. He cautioned politicians in Egi Kingdom to take heed, as the gods are already on rampage. On the foreign scene, the UK, US and Australia have announced a special security pact to share advanced defense technologies to counter China. The partnership will enable Australia to build nuclear-powered submarines for the first time. The pact, to be known as AUKUS, will also cover artificial intelligence, quantum technologies and cyberspace. The three countries are worried about China's growing power and military presence in the Indo-Pacific. On the news this morning, you heard that spokesperson for former President Goodluck Jonathan has said that Mr. Jonathan is not defecting to the APC. The Rivers State Executive Council has approved over 5 billion naira for rehabilitation of health institution. Wife of Godwin Barra declared wanted by state government says it is still missing after 48 hours. About 50 families have been left homeless as the River State government demolished shanties in Nkwogu, Port Harcourt. On the foreign scene, you heard that UK, US, and Australia have launched a pact to counter China. The news was edited by Noah Beveri. Contact our newsroom on 0818-900-0017. For more stories, visit www.nigeriainfo.fm. Cloudy weather expected in Port Harcourt this morning. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. Thank you for your time.